Today is April 11th, 2025. Exactly 1 year ago, on April 11th, 2024, I filed the LLC paperwork with sunbiz.org and started Baker County Trash Pickup LLC. So this is the perfect opportunity for a 1 year update video. Now, the history of why we started the business, when we did it, how we started it, what equipment we started with, common questions, those are all answered in some of the very first videos in this playlist. So if you're wondering any of those things, if this is the first time you've seen our channel, if you have no clue who I am, I recommend you go view those. Now, the first thing we'll talk about is equipment. We did purchase another 200 trash cans, and this is my buddy Terry who is helping me unload them. He did this for me last time. I don't know if I can convince him to do it again. We'll see when I need another batch if he feels charitable with his time or not, but he's a huge help. Now, June of last year is when we started trash pickup services, and we received our first batch of 200 cans. We delivered the last of those cans a few weeks ago, and so now we are actively placing cans from that second batch of 200. We ordered them from the same company, Toter. We've got the same colors, same options. The only difference is that the serial numbers on this batch is black, and I didn't even know that you could choose the color of your serial number. So on the first order, nobody asked if I wanted white or black. They just asked if I wanted serial numbers on them, and I said yes, and they came white. I figured that's just what they came in. But on this order, the individual I was working with reached out to me and said, "Hey, as a clarifier, did you want white or black hot stamp for the cereals?" I'm choosing black moving forward. I think it goes better with the can overall. I don't think it really matters. I don't think any of my customers would even know what color the serial number is. So it's one of those decisions that isn't going to make a lick of difference in the business, but I think I like the all black look a little bit more. Pricing was the same as last time. It was actually a couple $100 cheaper because the hot stamp for our logo was already set up. So after taxes and freight, I'm around $67 per can for this second batch of 200 cans. I still have my Chevy 2500 truck, the one I used to use for lawn care. I use that for delivering cans whenever I go drop off door hangers or flyers for marketing. That's the vehicle I use. I don't anticipate any changes there. It's definitely overkill for what I use it for, but it just doesn't make any sense to sell it and try and get a smaller vehicle. As expensive as everything is nowadays, that's not a decision that would get me a lot of money. It just doesn't make sense to do. Maybe if you went to like a really small used truck, but that's another thing. I've made videos in the past talking about why I don't want to buy a used vehicle. I also have opportunities from time to time to do some volunteer work, hauling things with the 2500. If I downgraded to a 1500 style truck or even smaller, I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. So I'm just going to keep the 2500 as is. Obviously, you can see I still have my carry-on landscape trailer. That's a trailer that I use for mowing, and in this video I'm using it for this batch of cans. I'm planning on selling that in the very near future after I take delivery of some large tool chests. We're working pretty hard to free up as much space on our property as possible, and also mental space. Not having another piece of equipment to think about would be nice. And if I can sell this for $2,000 or $3,000, then that would pay for, anywhere between 5 to 8 days of rental on a dump trailer, a similar size dump trailer with tall walls. So if I ever need a trailer in the future, I'm just going to go rent one. Over the past year, aside from getting cans delivered, I haven't needed a trailer for the trash business. I mean, now with a garbage truck, the only thing I can think is if I got some kind of big contract and had to deliver a lot of cans at once, but the odds of that happening are fairly low given where I'm at. And it's not the safest looking thing, but I think I can get like 20 cans on that Chevy truck. If there was some new construction neighborhood where I landed a bunch of houses, I could just make a bunch of trips with the truck, worst case scenario. The dump trailer that we started this business with, it's still down in South Florida doing some disaster relief work. Supposedly this is the last month that it will be needed for that, and then hopefully we'll be able to sell that as well. There's an individual down south who has been using it, who's expressed some interest in it. So if that works out, that'd be nice, because getting that one off the books would save us $830 a month in payments. When I bought that trailer, it was 18 months, no interest, So it's basically 18 payments of $831. The garbage truck itself is still doing fine. I did a dedicated video on that not too long ago. I'm about to do the first maintenance on it tomorrow. I think we've got something like 3,400 miles and maybe 310 hours on it. The Alcoa hot water pressure washer is still going strong. Keeping the garbage truck clean is very easy because of that, so I'm really glad Alcoa sent that to me. And when it comes to cleaning and sanitizing used cans, which as I get more people, there's going to be more people canceling service or moving, so cleaning used cans is going to be more important. So that's all the equipment, but how are we doing financially? I'm sure that's what you're more interested in. Now, we still currently aren't drawing any funds from the trash business to live off of. Everything that comes in monthly, it just stays in the business account and goes out to pay business expenses. As of today, we have 177 clients and 204 cans out. We have some folks who are on annual paid in full, and some folks are currently on their free months as new customers. That's a promotion we run. So we aren't making this every month because of those two groups of people. But if everyone we had was on regular monthly pay, with those numbers, we'd be bringing in $7,025 a month or $84,000 a year. I'm pretty happy with that number for just 1 year in business and 1 day a week of trash pickup. Now, obviously, that $84,000, it's got to be at least double that. At least double that to have any chance of the business succeeding and us living off of it. And in fact, I'm thinking we're probably going to wind up landing closer to 600 cans as our upper limit. Still not 100% sure on that, but that's kind of what we're thinking. It's mainly because of the cost of garbage trucks. You know, right now we have a little over $130,000 on the loan for our current truck. We just started to pay the balance down a little bit every month, but the goal is to get that paid off as soon as possible and then start saving for the next one. We don't want to be in a situation where the truck ages out or we really need a backup and we don't have any funds for that. That's down the line. The focus right now is still just selling more cans before we can get to that goal of saving money to pay off the current truck and save up for a new one. That's all I need to put my energy into right now, is finding out opportunities to get every can I can out. Every can I can. Now, we're still able to service all those clients in 1 day. Not sure what our cap will be on how many we can fit into a day, but here's where we are at right now. We make 2 trips to the landfill during that 1 day of work. The first one is after around 120 stops, and the second one is after around 50 stops. So obviously we still have a ton of space available for that second trip. We leave the landfill after our second trip around 1:30 in the afternoon. So if we add people in the right spots and we can match that 120 stop number for the second stop as well, then that would be about an extra 70 cans that should only take about a minute a piece. So roughly an hour and 15 or an hour and a half. That would still be completely doable, and it would mean we'd be close to 250 clients in a day. Technically, we could squeeze a third visit to the landfill in, but when we start working backwards from when the landfill closes, I'm not sure it makes sense. If the landfill closes at 5, I want to be leaving at 4:45. I'm already on their radar because of this channel. I don't want to be a guy who's making them stay late because I'm leaving at 5:05 or I'm weighing out at 5:10. I don't want to do that. So I need to be leaving by 4:45. The whole process of dumping from the time we pull in till the time we leave, generally around 25 minutes on the high side. So that means we need to get to the landfill around 4:20 in the evening. Usually takes us about 20 minutes to get to the landfill from our route, which means we need to leave the route at 4 o'clock. Now, if I'm right about adding those extra people that we have room for right now, then that means we probably wouldn't leave the landfill on the second trip until around 2:45 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And from there, it would be maybe 15 minutes to get back to the route to pick up more trash. That means that if we did a third trip to the landfill, unless something changes, we'd really only have about 45 minutes to an hour of picking up trash again before we had to leave to go back to the landfill for that third and final visit. Whether or not that makes sense, I don't know. It's definitely not super efficient, but if it avoids a second day of pickup, maybe that's the way we go until we really just completely run out of hours in the day. All that being said, it's fun to think about and speculate, but none of it matters right now. That's a future problem to figure out. All I need to do now is just keep selling cans. I've got 200 on the patio. Getting more cans out is the only thing that will get us closer to our goal of being able to live off of this business without dipping into any of our savings, having the cash flow to maintain its current truck or trucks and purchase new truck or trucks as the older ones wear out or phase out. That's it. And here we are a week or two later. I'm going to show you what it looks like, but I spent a whole day moving all of those stacks of cans over here and in the garage, breaking them down into stacks of 5 instead of stacks of 10s. Move this camper out of the way, and then moved all the cans back into there. And all the stacks except for one fit in this huge column. I just left one stack of 5 in the garage, and that's actually the rest of that is what's on the truck. There's a stack of 4. There's the only stack that didn't fit. That's just living here until it gets delivered. I've got 2 to put out today. Quite a bit of work going on in the garage to reorganize everything. Pulled all the things off the wall. Had a bunch of chargers over here. Had a big hole here that I had to repair from when I first had one of my lawn care trailers that I would back in. There was a chair or something there that I didn't see, and I smashed it through the wall. So I had to fix that. We'll paint all this a different shade of gray, and then we are going to get a much larger Harbor Freight storage system so that we can kind of consolidate the colors. Since a lot of the fixed storage is gray, we're just going to get a 56-inch gray tool chest. Trying to make this more of a productive space for maintenance and repairs on the garbage truck if they ever need that. And that's where the business stands. Almost halfway into April. So if you've got any questions, let me know. But I'll put out another update video probably in a month or 2. I don't think every week I want to keep doing those kind of update videos. So if you have questions on specific topics that you'd like to see videos on, be sure and leave those in the comments, and I'll try and make those as well. All right, thanks guys. See you in the next one.